फिर से पैसा बोलता है में आपका स्वागत है. Welcome back to पैसा बोलता है. Yesterday Tata Motors shares went up by 5%, went cross 667. This was a sudden spike in a market. The market was extremely dull yesterday and it was down 50 points. Market had opened gap down 75 points. And the market opened weak basically because therefore yesterday the US inflation numbers came worse than expected, and therefore again the betting started that the Fed would increase interest rates before the year is out. And we do not know for sure when when the inflation would come down and when rate increases would stop and when would the rate cuts begin. In such a market, Tata Motors went up yesterday, took everybody by surprise, and people were waiting to find out why Tata Motors went up yesterday. Then news trickled in that Tata Motors has managed to move forward in its Tata Technologies IPO. Tata Technologies is a subsidiary of Tata Motors. It is owns 73.26% of its shares, and other Tata Group companies own other shares. But the news was that 9.9% of Tata Technologies was placed outside and was sold at a price valuation of $2 billion. That is, the company was valued at $2 billion and 9.9% stake was sold. 9% of it was bought by TPG Group, which has already invested more than $1 billion in the EV subsidiary of Tata Motors. Through their climate change fund, had invested committed to invest 1,400 and odd crores for 9% stake in Tata Technologies, and 0.9% was bought by Ratan Tata himself for his trust, the Ratan Tata Endowment Trust. So basically 9.9% changed hands yesterday at a valuation of nearly $2 billion. This transaction is supposed to be completed by the 27th of October, and the money will be flowing into Tata Motors, and Tata Motors would have transferred the shares, and therefore the Tata Motors shareholding would come down to 63%. If there is no news when the IPO will come out, but it is going to be face value 10 rupee shares, and there is also talk of reservation of 10% of the shares to existing Tata Motors investors. So this is what we know for sure. The current company is currently valued at 2 billion. But if you really want to get an idea of how much this company will be valued at, one has to take a look at the valuations of Tata Elxsi and KPIT, which also is involved in same technologies. Tata Technologies was originally a company which was doing captive digital work on auto-related software for Tata Motors, and now has started to look at outside clients also, and does work for JLR. In fact, the digital upgrade of JLRs and digital management software is being handled by this Tata Technologies. Tata Technologies has also got into aerospace and other allied industries, and it is very keenly anticipated issue. It should come at this season when IPOs are doing very well, and this is the first IPO from the Tata stable after nearly 20 years after Tata Consulting Services went public. So the market is eagerly awaiting this commercial sale. So we also have to see how much Tata Motors is going to sell, and based on that, we'll be able to back up the envelope calculation on the money that they have received and how much of the loans they can repay. And even with current estimates and current cash flows, it's estimated at worst in 2 to 2.5 years, Tata Motors would have paid back all automotive debt, and the only debt left in Tata Motors will be that of its finance subsidiary, which is Tata Motor Finance. So Tata Motor Finance company will have money which it raised through bonds and debentures, but the money borrowed for Tata Motors would have been paid for, and Tata Motors will become a net debt free company. It was supposed to have ended by the end of this year, but it has not because of various cost overruns and other things. And therefore, Chandrasekhar said they would become net debt free by 24, and if not by 24, at worst case by 2025. And this meant that since the end of debt was visible, the share prices have shot up and are expected to rise more. Also, we know for now sure that the electric vehicles of Tata's have been accepted by the general public, and it is selling about 6,000 units every month on an average at at the Indian market alone. So you can expect by the end of this year, more than 100,000 Tata electric vehicles will be on the road. Also, in the last month, there has been a revival of demand in the commercial vehicle markets, and Tata, being the largest player in the commercial vehicle market, has also benefited from it. Also, you have the Ace electric vehicle with Flipkart, Amazon, and ITC wanting to do the last mile distribution with electric vehicles. Demand for Ace could go up, electric Ace could go up, since there is very little competition on a four-wheeler electric commercial vehicle. You can see the sales of electric Ace also continue to increase throughout the year. All this has meant that Tata Motors shares are going to do well. They have already done well. I remember buying them for 70, and also at the same time they had a rights issue at around the same price. From there, the company has gone strength to strength, brought cut back debt, and launched successful models both in IC engines and as well as in electric cars. And the JLR sales has also turned around because the supply problem of chips has also come down, and therefore they are available in enough quantity. Also, the DVR shares, differential voting shares, are going to be converted to original shares at the ratio of 7 is to 10. So it looks like there is an arbitrage also opportunity where you can buy DVRs in the multiples of 7 to make sure that you will get Tata Motors and you will get a 10 to 15% markup. So the reason for Tata Technologies to claim yesterday was that they had moved the needle and sold the first tranche of 10% of stock, nearly 10% of stock, to TPG Rise Investment Climate Change Fund, and about 0.9 to Ratan Tata's trust, the Ratan Tata Endowment Trust. So the public issue can be expected before the year is out, even before the financial year, not the financial year, before the calendar year is out. And it's one of those rare IPOs where you should subscribe, especially if you are getting a preferential allotment as a Tata Motor shareholder. This is the reason for Tata Motors to climb yesterday. You could buy Tata DVR or wait for a correction to consider the stock. And in the long term, this company should do extremely well. आप इस चैनल में आए, इस पॉडकास्ट को सुना, इसके लिए मैं आपका आभारी हूँ। अगर आपको इस वीडियो पसंद आया तो आप इस वीडियो को लाइक कर सकते हैं, मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं, बेल नोटिफिकेशन दबा सकते हैं और इस वीडियो को अपने दोस्तों और रिश्तेदारों के पास भेजें और उनको देखने के लिए आग्रह करें। नमस्कार, धन्यवाद, जय हिंद। मैं हैदराबाद में एक इवेंट करने वाला हूँ 28 अक्टूबर शनिवार को 4:30 से 5 बजे तक। जो उधर मुझे मिलना चाहे वो नीचे दिए हुए जीमेल आईडी में और व्हाट्सएप नंबर में कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। hyderabadmoneypage@gmail.com उसका ईमेल एड्रेस है। मैं आपको हैदराबाद में मिलाऊंगा।